You smell what The Rock is cooking.
Acknowledge me.
You don't know what hard times are, Daddy.
We are bad to the bone. Get it? Bad to the bone.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
I'll fight anybody. Who do you want? Just let me fight him.
Let me tell you something, Jim Ross.
Bigger power, yeah.
We got it for you.
We are the best of the best.
Woo! Wheeling, dealing.
Smart marks.
And that's the bottom line, cause Stone Cold said so.
Yo, welcome back to another episode of Talk 'em in the Building, a pro wrestling podcast that puts the focus on the promo. We talk about the talkers, we hype the hype man, and of course we have to pontificate upon the promo. I'm Adrian. You already know it's no BS coming from me, and I'm joined by the rest of the team out here in the great state of Georgia. We got our brother Greg, and out west we got brother out of lead. What's going on, fellas? How you feeling?
Good, man. How are you doing?
Good. Doing good, man. Doing good. Fellas, we are finally here. We are at episode 100, man. Great job. Shout out to y'all, man. This podcast started with just a simple conversation of, man, let's make a podcast that's different from these other wrestling podcasts. Let's find our niche. Let's find something that we're actually passionate about. And something that we can have some good conversations about. And I want to thank both of you for your dedication and time. And it's a lot. It's a lot when you're talking about 3 different schedules, 3 different lives, marriages, out of leads out west, y'all. So, you know, it's the time difference. It's a lot of moving parts. And I definitely want to take the moment to thank both of you before we even get started on this episode. So shout out to both of y'all, man, for sure.
Oh man. Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome to be here, and I'm just happy that we were able to make it happen. And as much as we do it for y'all, the listeners and the viewers, really doing it for ourselves too, because it's always a good time.
I mean, it's just it's us 3 hanging out, right? It's us 3 talking about the promo, talking about what we love, but and pro wrestling, we all met that way. I mean, for anybody out there who doesn't know our story, we did not meet, even though Adrian and I both live in Atlanta. We met in Dallas at WrestleMania. We all met at New Japan show. So, you know, we didn't meet that way. We met through this thing that we call pro wrestling. But I want to throw a shout out to you, Adrian, for inviting us to do this. Like saying, hey, let's put this together. And, you know, you having that vision for this whole Suplex Dinner Network. And this as well. So I appreciate it, man. Thank you for bringing me on.
Definitely, man. Definitely. I appreciate both of y'all. We definitely appreciate the listeners. Like, comment, subscribe, like we always say. And with this being 100 episodes, you can check out the other episodes. IntoTheBuilding.com. Very easy to remember. IntoTheBuilding.com will bring you back to our YouTube channel where all of our episodes, our shorts, reels, all of that stuff is there. Great conversations about the past, present, and future of professional wrestling. So be sure to check us out. But today, gentlemen, we got a good episode going, good conversation. We're going to go ahead and hand out some mid-season awards in pro wrestling. You know, the good, the bad, the ugly, what have you. Now, each of us have, maybe some of us have the same nominee for a couple of these categories. But in the instance where we don't share the same answer, we're going to debate it out, and we're going to ultimately decide as a tribunal who wins what. And I think after 100 episodes, we can safely say we 3 are the most knowledgeable in the professional wrestling game of the promo. I think we have that authority after 100 episodes. So I'm joking for anybody who jumps in the comments, but I'm just talking to be talking. All right. But before we get into our awards ceremony, I got a nice little icebreaker question for you, gentlemen. We're already halfway through the year. We got some good stuff, hopefully around the corner to end off 2026. But my question for you, gentlemen, and my question for the listeners, what's the one wish that you have to end the year in professional wrestling? Adelie, you're up first.
It's more of a, I think for me, we've had conversations around the topic of capturing lightning in a bottle, right? Mm-hmm. And so many of the moments that we've seen over time, over the years, they feel somewhat manufactured, right? Which is not a bad thing, right? You can build up a storyline and things like that. And even in the last weeks, you had, for the first time in forever, you had titles change on free TV, so to speak, right? In both the two major companies over here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which that should be lightning in a bottle. But in some ways, it still felt telegraphed. Like nobody was surprised by it, right? I'm looking for that moment, and it doesn't have to be a major moment for the production or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But somewhere where we're embracing an organic wrestler or movement or something that we don't see, and I don't think we're surprised enough. And that, hate to say it, but the internet has kind of ruined that in a lot of ways, where we know too much and we find out too much, and too many things are leaked. Yeah. And I just wonder what's that next moment that really kind of unifies the wrestling atmosphere. And I talk about this because here we have Punk, and they're doing a lot of retrospectives on him because he won the championship again and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And I think back, we're going on 15 years since the pipe bomb and the aftermath of the pipe bomb. And I can't think of a time maybe that, that Avengers style WrestleMania a couple of years ago, where everyone besides the wrestling fans had some say in what pro wrestling is and can be at its fullest extent, right? And my measure is always, when the outsiders ask me what's going on, then I'm like, oh, this hit a nerve outside of our little ecosystem, so to speak, right?
For sure.
But I don't know what that looks like, because again, it's so dependent on how they see the characters, or how they see the development for what it is, and run with it, right? Again, how does Daniel Bryan have his moment? Well, it came out of necessity, right? And because he chose to listen to the crowd. I just wonder who that next one is up. And I can think of a few wrestlers that may come up later in our conversation, but that's kind of where my mind goes right now. I would love to see something like that, just because I'm selfish and I think it's like the coolest thing in pro wrestling.
I like that. And you bring up a funny point, because I was talking to some of the friends, or some of the homies of the podcast, and we were saying basically the same thing when it came to the title changes recently, and how it's either too predictable, or if it doesn't happen exactly the way that we want it, we get on the internet and we just trash it. Oh, they should have done it like this, and I would have did it like it's like, dude, they brought us a surprise. That was a surprise. Shouldn't you be happy that they did something outside of the norm? You know what I'm saying? It's just funny. It's very funny to see how the internet, I mean, some of us podcasters, we complain about everything. We just find whatever reason to complain about something. And sure enough, fast forward about 25 minutes, it's Adrian complaining about something that is like, come on, man, chill out. But Greg, what's your one wish for professional wrestling this year?
I think the wish I have, and I'm really hoping it happens, is that we do see some of these talents from WWE go to AEW, go to TNA, and reinvent themselves and flourish, and vice versa, and go from AEW or TNA to WWE or wherever else they need to go, New Japan, because we have these territories out there that we haven't had for so long. And we've had a couple, jump back and forth from the AEW to NXT or whatever. But I'm excited that a Sheamus may leave. I'm excited for a New Day. I'm excited for possibly a Bayley to show up on a TNA or on a AEW or New Japan. I mean, that's my wish, is that we become, I can't even say we as the wrestling community are going to become patient, because we won't.
Nope.
But just my hope and my wish for the rest of the year is that they will do this, and that they'll get out there. I mean, not just the fresh matchups, but the fresh environment, the fresh energy. I think we saw it with Copeland, Adam, when he went to I get to be with Christian, and there's kind of a refresh there that I can be a full-time talent, not a part-timer over here. And that's my hope, is that we have that to where we get those fresh storylines, kind of like what you just said, Adelaide. Some of these may go to another territory and connect at a different level. And then, of course, everybody's going to say, oh, WWE dropped the ball. Oh, AEW dropped it. No, they didn't. They just need a fresh start.
Right.
We've seen it time and time and time again over the past 30, 40 years. And that's my hope. That's my wish. Because I want to be drawn in. I mean, there's some things in creative on all companies that I'm not happy with. But I'm like I say that, not happy with. They haven't drawn me in. I can't say that anything's bad. It's just not what we had a couple years ago.
I got you. Yeah, that's fair.
And so there's some fresh talent. There's a youth movement, and use WWE. There's a youth movement that you're just not going to get some of those things, right? There's a way you have to build it. AEW, I think, has improved dramatically over the past several months, storyline and creative wise. But that's just my hope, is that we just get that fresh talent, and I don't mean fresh rookies. I just mean fresh from different promotions.
Definitely, it's like an ecosystem. Like if think about 20 or so years ago, where WWE was really the only big show, and literally we had the big show there just taking up space. Where it could have been guys that were in the mid card or lower card that could have used the opportunity. Now that they have options of being able to go overseas, they can go somewhere else for a little bit. They can go to another company like AEW and, like you said, reinvent themselves. Those open up spots for younger talent. That opens up spots for a talent that never really quite got the chance to be the guy. So, I mean, I know a lot of us complain, but the ecosystem, I think, is working well in the sense of people having the opportunity to thrive.
And I think it's not just the opportunity of the individual, it's the opportunity of different creative. Let's use Sheamus as an example. We know him and Hunter were tight for a long time. I don't know how tight they are now, but they were. And at some point, you kind of get stale. I'm curious to see what a Tony Khan can do with him. I'm curious to see what a Hunter could do with somebody, whoever coming over. You see it now. They're doing some things with Royce Keys and different, dabbling and things like that. But it's like, I'm just curious to see what they do with different creative. And I mean, a Bailey going over there with Mercedes, if that's possible. That'd be great, because they have that chemistry. It's like Edge going to Christian, right? They have the chemistry, they have the personal relationship, we all know it, and it's just, to me, it's exciting. I just remember growing up with the NWA, WCW, WWE, and seeing, oh my gosh, Jake just showed up and attacked Sting. That's awesome. Oh wait, here's Cactus, and he's now Mankind. Wait, what? And this is before Attitude Era, right? This is before any of that kind of stuff happened. And it was exciting. It was fun to see that reinvent or just change. Or even before that, because I'm older than y'all. Dusty leaves. What happened to Dusty? Where'd he go? Oh, he comes back. Oh my God, Dusty's back. Here in Georgia Championship Wrestling, or, WCW Saturday Night. And then you read the magazines. Oh, JYD is over here and this person's over there. And I didn't, all those different things. They only stayed 6 months, y'all. This was not, they were never in the territory for 2 or 3, 4 years. They're in, out. They understood it.
Yeah.
So
I think you hit on something, kind of having this myopic view of like, I only watch this, or I only watch that, or I'm an enemy of this, or and it's like, you can also just follow the people you like and see how they do, right? And if you truly are a fan of that person, maybe not the character, then you'll be happy when they reinvent and maybe are trying new things, and have the patience for it too, because we're so just enthralled by like, gimme right now. It's like, hey, let it simmer, let them cook.
Way too bad about that. Yeah. But my one wish, and then we'll move on to these mid-season awards. My one wish, and Monday kinda showed me a little something, but I'm still gonna call them out. My one wish to end the year is for someone to light a fire under Roman Reigns' ass. That's what I need. I think that pro wrestling needs a fired up Roman Reigns. Pro wrestling needs a locked in Roman Reigns to deliver and lead WWE, because WWE moves the whole motion of professional wrestling. When WWE's up, everyone benefits. When WWE is down and the interest is low, everyone suffers. Like it or not, if you're an AEW fan and you don't want to hear that, this is the truth. The big wave controls the little ships.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Now, I think that Roman Reigns needs to become the star that WWE spent damn near a decade convincing us that he's this guy. You know, and I don't know whether or not, I mean, it's multiple factors and variables in there, especially with his health and all of that, but he's the guy. And he has to be the guy to bring them back into that level. Think about when the last time we were like, man, pro wrestling is so hot. What was going on in WWE? The bloodline. Yep. Who was the center of that? Who was the kickoff point of that? Roman Reigns. As simple as that. He's your main events guy. I need to see more of him. I need to see more of a fired up Roman Reigns. I don't need to watch Roman Reigns and question whether or not he's just counting the dates on his contract. I don't like having that feeling. I'm not saying he needs to be there every week. I understand that. We all grew up during the golden era with Hogan. Hogan wasn't at every big show. You know what I'm saying? And that was good because that made him that much more special. But when Hogan showed up, he showed up and showed out. I was never a point where you question if Hulk Hogan was phoned in for something. And I do question that sometimes with Roman.
I like that, but I think the bigger issue with that, I don't necessarily question that with Roman, but I respect your opinion. Listening to it makes sense. But when we let's go back, and this is you do touch on Hogan, but it's across the whole board. But it's my piece with that is I agree. But a couple of years ago, we had Roman at the top, but you also had a babyface here. We don't have a heel up here.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's fair. Look at your main events for SummerSlam. Face.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Because they can't turn anybody heel. They've done everything that what else can Roman do to be a heel? They're cheering him. The only thing I figure that they can do with him, and I think listening to you, my everything in my head started spinning. The family turns against him and he loses his mind and becomes a mega babyface, and the bloodline turns on him, with Jacob being the heel.
I would be intrigued.
But something has
that.
But something would have to put him. Listening to you talk, I'm like, man, that has to put him on an island by himself, and allow him to just be like that Hogan-esque babyface that gets beat down. I'm talking beat down like they did with Cody. It's not a new formula.
Right.
It's the same thing, but you just do it with him. I think that's the only way you can get there.
That's good. He really is Superman right now. He's invulnerable, and until we see someone break that armor, it's going to be the same. It's like you want to be invested, but you're like, I know how the story ends. Like, basically, I've read this book before.
Well, listeners, you let us know, what are your thoughts? What is your one wish for professional wrestling to end off 2026? But fellas, let's go ahead and get into these mid-season awards. Like I said, listeners, each of us are going to bring a nominee. Once we present our nominees, then we will have said debate or discussion to decide who wins. But let's start off with the big one, fellas. We're going to start off with the MVP, the best talker of pro wrestling. And I'm going to hand it off to Greg first. Let me get your nominee. Don't give your reasons. Just give me your nominee, and then we'll go for the rest.
Okay, we're just talking the first half of the year. My best talker across the board is Danhausen. Okay. Out of lead, who's your nominee?
Well, I can't choose it in this game. I'm going to go with someone that I will remain until he messes up royally. I can't see why I wouldn't nominate him. The face of AEW, as far as I'm concerned, Mask called Jacob Friedman. Got to.
Good call. Okay, my nominee is going to be CM Punk for the first half of 2026. Mm-hmm. All right, who wants to put out their evidence first?
I'll go first because I can't argue with either one of y'all's either. But I was trying to think of somebody, right? And I was like, I mean, MJF, I thought about, no lie, Punk, I mean, Magic, right, on the mic. I had Roman for a moment. I actually debated about Roman because when I think about the promo, I'm not just thinking about your delivery and all that kind of stuff. So I'm looking at, do you have the fans engaged? What's your interaction with the person across from you? And to me, Roman's clicking on a level that's like natural. Like that confidence is there. To your point, during your wish is kind of, there's not a fire and there's some things I would change about it. But then when I sat back and I was like, man, who has connected with this crowd at a different level? Who has done the promos, not necessarily the most electrifying per se promo, but has been booed and had bad segments and still flipped the freaking crowd around. And then I was like, man, that's Danhausen. Then I'm like, he's on freaking ESPN and he's awesome. There's no shake or anything like that, right? This is a dude who came in on one of the worst debuts in the history of the freaking company, gobbledygooker level, because everybody had an expectation. He comes out, he gets booed. The next night starts that foundation. Like, yes, I was cheered. It's like, it's delusional. And think about when I say the promo, it's not just the promo, it's the backstage segments and boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, I just can't see how we can't give him that award because he has taken everything to another level and went mainstream and delivers week after week after week on a character that could easily burn people out and that he hasn't.
Yeah, well, that's the show, everybody.
At least not gonna argue with me because he loves Danhausen. So
no. But I think from your perspective, hearing you say that, it's almost like I knew he was going to be successful. I didn't doubt that. The time that he's been successful in and to the level, I mean, this weekend they did a house show, and it was very reminiscent of that time where like Bryan, Ryder, and Punk were champs, right? None of them are champs right now except Punk, but they're closing out the house show, and it's the three top merch sellers. It's Punk, it's Cody, and it's Danhausen, and they're like doing a curtain call, a literal curtain call. And I'm like, first of all, these dudes were in AEW like 2 years ago, all of them together, which is wild. But you're right. It's like, if you go, because I was turned on to him through his vlogs and through that online media presence. So all the ability to improv, which is really what he's doing a lot of the time, he's able to translate it, to your point, on a stage where I don't care how long of a lifelong fan you are. If you're set and here's the mic for 30 seconds, people are going to fumble it. People don't do well in front of a crowd. I don't care how good you are. People get nervous. People just, your adrenaline is going, right? And I think that's what's been fascinating to see him still have a few missteps, but almost use them to his advantage, right? Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest, when we came into him, he did not cross my mind because I don't consider him, I almost consider him on this other basket of sorts. Mm-hmm. I don't consider him as like this great talker, but given the way that you're kind of playing it out, does make sense, right? Because ultimately, what do we look for in the promo? We do look for engagement. We do look for audience participation, right? We do look at what they always say, every dang wrestler and writer that was like, maximize your minutes. And I mean, who's better at that than him right now? Maybe other than Punk in WWE. Oh, I think you're muted.
Oh, give me your rationale behind MJF then.
MJF. So MJF for me really does represent everything that the modern pro wrestling, and to borrow Greg, if y'all have listened to the past, Greg has made a good point of saying kayfabe ain't dead, it's just changed, right? And I think he represents that change probably better than anybody in the modern world, because I've seen him do media, right? We're just talking about doing Dan Hassan, and he'll do this little podunk, local news thing, and he's still MJF. He doesn't tone it down. He's still a jerk. He's still, annoying and insulting. But it only takes about like 10 seconds for the news anchors to kind of get it. They're like, oh, okay, we can kind of roll with it. But at the same time, it's like he understands the assignment, right? He understands what it's like to give a backstage promo, a post-match promo where he's upset or something, or how to play like the conniving heel or the cheater or whatnot, or just like, I'm the champ and I'm better than anybody else. I think where the challenge was, where they had that run more recently, and it was last year technically, but that run where he couldn't help but be face, right? He couldn't help but be a good guy. And he was still somewhat true to his character. He was a good guy per se, but he was still towing the line. I'm like, okay, I'll let you guys cheer for me, that kind of thing, right? And I think that's where it's interesting, where, they always talk about these pillars for AEW. I think that dude, probably more than anybody, if he decides to never go to the competition, pillars, if he decides to never go to the competition, I think he has to be like an all-timer in the industry, right? Just for elevating that brand and keeping it afloat. And when I think of an AEW, I think of modern wrestling. He really is who I think of, right? Because you think of like, okay, he's just turned 30, and everybody else that we've talked about up until now is much older than him, including Danhausen. Yep. So give me 5 years. Danhausen is timeless because all he has to do is throw the makeup on. Yeah. But everybody else who's actually has to perform in the ring at a high level, they might be out of the conversation. I can't say that a 35-year-old MJF is probably even better than he is right now.
Yeah.
Substantially.
Yeah.
So I think we're only seeing like we're seeing such a small basement of what he's going to be.
Yeah, no, that's true. We're actually starting to see him get it. He's always been a smart wrestler, and he always knew how to position himself within the eyes of fans. But I think over the year, MJF has leveled up. I think so. Even though I have seen people critique, well, he never changes character. He doesn't have to. He's over. Why the hell would he change his character?
Yep.
He's over. And now he's adding little things to it. So, yeah, no, he definitely did a great job as their champ multiple times, which is crazy. But, yeah, MJF is definitely a great option. But, fellas, the winner, I got to tell you, the winner has to be my guy, CM Punk. And these are the reasons why. CM Punk, think about the perception of CM Punk going into WWE. And I know he's been with WWE for a couple years, so I can't use he's been a cancer and all that. I can't use that for my evidence, and I won't do that. What I am going to give you is the perception of an older veteran, Phil Brooks, being on the flagship show and doing a whole lot of heavy lifting for half the year so far. I mean, we're midway through the year. I'm going to tell you, Punk not only delivered as being the top guy for the flagship show of WWE, but he brought others on his way there. Think about that back and forth with Finn Balor and how they took advantage of that and how Punk did great business with that. Him going back, and I want to say they opened the year with him facing Braun Breaker. And remember his back and forth with the Vision. Punk has interacted with a whole bunch of that talent. And that's one thing that I did enjoy when he was with AEW. Like, he wasn't just, I'm focused on this one person or this sector. That dude was, you want to work? Let's work. You want to get together? Let's get together. And we've seen that so far in 2026 with CM Punk. The main reason why I'm saying that CM Punk has to be the MVP he carried the main event of WrestleMania, the lead in to WrestleMania, damn near 85 to 90% of it. And that's not me hating on Roman, because I appreciate Roman. I like Roman. But facts are facts. Punk was there every week. Punk was talking him into the building the intrigue. Roman showed up in spots, which is smart. I mean, that's the way he's presented. But Punk showed up, had promos with his family, had promos, sit downs and all this stuff that led to the main event of the biggest show in professional wrestling. Which brings us now to him being the champ now. His promo after he lost WrestleMania with Cody, how much intrigue was built with that whole conversation of a championship opportunity may drop out of the sky. Now we're seeing the fruits of that. Mm-hmm. And we're just midway through the year. So for me, I think for a guy that's old, what do they say, bitter, broken, fragile mind, fragile body, he's proven the exact opposite of that while bringing others along for the ride, including the biggest star in their company for the biggest show. So that's the reason why I'm saying CM Punk is my MVP mid-season.
I have a question for you.
Go for it.
So I've been doing because they're putting out so much content on him right now, right? Like they just did the Stephanie McMahon interview, which I started listening to, and he actually gets into having a pre-pipe bomb meeting with Vince about what he could and not say, and Vince greenlit everything. He was like, "Whoa!" The only thing is that you better talk about Stephanie too. That was his only note. He talks about on the Cabana podcast, and now this is going back, well over a decade.
Yeah,
he talks about when he faced Undertaker at that Mania, right? And he still had a great presence, and they tried to convince him that this was the main event, right? He's like, "Well, pay me like it's the main event." You better believe he's getting paid now, right?
Oh yeah.
Do you think that version of Punk? Because in his own words, he's like, "I am ready to be the main event. I don't want to face Hunter." This is how he leaves, right? Eventually. Do you think that Punk is seasoned, not just as a politician, not just as on the mic? Is that the same Punk that is relevant now, or do you think he had to go through all that to get to this point, including the AEW run?
Honestly, I think all of that stuff had to go down for us to get this polished Punk, because it's one thing about getting embarrassed or, humbled per se, because there was you brought up the Colt podcast. Punk did no wrong, according to him, if you listen to it. I listened to that podcast. I've listened to both because it was two episodes or whatnot. And according to Punk, he didn't do anything wrong. And it's I like you, but that's not how that goes down, champ. So just the experience of basically saying, I'm going to say screw the big company and not really work with anyone else because they're not at my level yet. That was still that level of, arrogance to him, right?
Yep.
Once he gets into that Fox role where it's like a weird little pre or post WWE show, credit WWE for trying to do that, but it was weird. Yeah. He came in with a level of arrogance still. And all this time, he's still chirping online. It's still not showing that it's okay, I really want another opportunity. It's more, I'm pissed at what's going on right now, and I'm pissed that I'm not a part of it, and I'm pissed that I'm not making as much money as I should be making with this company. Royalties and all that, but not near the same amount as these other guys. AEW pops up. That opportunity shows up. Perfect opportunity for him to smite WWE. It's I'm going to shove it in WWE's face. And for the most part, he had a good contingency of us supporting him. Because as soon as it was like, okay, Punk to AEW, perfect. That goes down. Unfortunately, things happen and all of that. On his way out, like you kind of see a lot of the stuff that's like, yeah, they're kind of screwing him over, but also you kind of know what kind of player he was. You know what I'm saying? So you're like, that's the reason why the internet was like, I don't know which side to pick and all of that. Now, when he gets to WWE, all of us thought this was going to be good for a year, and then he's going to ruin it.
Yeah,
I know for a fact, Ali and I are we like CM Punk. Yeah. And we loved CM Punk back then. But I know for a fact, I thought he was just going to be there for a year. He's going to screw it up. He's going to say something. Yeah. He's going to say something's not going to go his way. And it's just going to be awful. And the people who badmouth him on the way out to AEW are only going to be validated. And perfect, it hasn't happened. Yeah. It's been the complete opposite. He's been a team player. He's been happy. It looks like he's happy. He looks like he's healthy. Like, I'm happy for the guy just because he looks a lot better than what we saw on the way out of AEW.
He looked gaunt, bro. Oh my gosh.
Brings his wife out of retirement. Like everything is awesome for him, you know? But he's delivered his end of the bargain also.
I've always said he needed the AEW issue.
Absolutely.
And I think that humbled him. If he had come straight to WWE, it would not have been the same.
And he needed that AEW high also.
Yes.
Because he helped when it came to his debut on, Rampage, right? He showed up on Rampage. That was a big deal. That was big business. It showed that he did have that support. He did have that drawing power. And going into his championships, he had some great matches. Like that MJF and Punk feud was one of the best of all time for me in that company.
Yeah.
That was good.
Like, that was cinema.
I think that was also the best thing that could have happened. Not the MJF stuff, the early stuff. I've complained from day one. You don't bring in a CM Punk and have him go against Darby when Darby's just a mid-carder. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. You just brought in one of the top stars in the world that's said, I'm never coming back. I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody thinks. You put him straight into the world title picture. That's what you do. One of the worst things he ever said was, I didn't come in just to get the world title. I'm here to work with young guys. Come on, dude. That's the dumbest creative move, in my opinion. If you go out here and you're WWE and you go sign, I don't know who you would sign today, MJF, you think for one moment they put MJF in NXT? You think for one moment he's going to come in and go, I'm going to wrestle Kit? No, you're not. No, you're not. You're going to be on the microphone because, to Idoli's point, he can kill it on the microphone. You're going to go straight after one of the top guys. I mean, that's just what they would do. Yeah, and I think
that's fair.
The other part, if we go back, and I did just finish listening to him with Stephanie, and he doesn't say it, but he says it. His issue was with Vince.
Yeah.
And his issue was not with the company as a whole. It was with Vince and everything else. And now Hunter said he had to mature. So there's that, right? If he had come in during when he went to AEW, Vince was still in control. And then Hunter was still kind of in there, but it just would not have worked. It's a whole different world, but I think he had to have that maturity piece. And then coming in, and this is going to sound crappy too, the best thing that happened to him was get hurt.
Yeah.
Because he was able to really reach into his own creative with McIntyre and go through a whole storyline that was insane. That was fun. And the dude couldn't wrestle.
Yeah, that was fun.
And it's like, and then he showed his worth. And I think that's where WWE sat back and said, holy crap. I relate him to two different things. I relate him one to Luger.
Okay.
When he went to WCW.
Oh, that's a good point.
Because Eric Bischoff said, I didn't want him. But I knew he'd be a surprise. I didn't pay him. Now we don't know what I'm sure Punk make plenty of money. But he kind of said, oh, now Luger earned his spot. Now we're going to pay him and we're going to break him off. That's one. The other one I relate him to is Jericho.
Okay.
Yeah.
When Punk left WWE, he was he main event? When you think top stars, it was Rock came in and just killed him. You had Cena. You had all these guys up here. To me, Punk was right down here. He was in this area. We're gonna give him that summer run. We know what Vince thought about the summer runs, i.e. Kofi. So there's that summer run. We give it to you, and then what do we have? We have the Best in the Beard tag team. So now you got moved into a tag team with Daniel Bryan. Because at the end of the day, I, as in Vince, don't look at you as this person.
Yeah.
I look at you here.
Yeah.
Same thing with Jericho. Jericho beat Stone Cold. Jericho beat The Rock, but he was never looked at their level.
Right.
He was here. He was a means to an end. He leaves, he comes back, and he's a bigger star than ever.
Yeah.
And I think that's Punk now is looked at as that first ballot Hall of Fame main event player. I can rely on you. You're up here. You're Cody. You're Roman.
Yeah.
You're this. You're the A tier. And I think that all had to happen to be gone. He had to be gone and come back a bigger star.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right, fellas, let's go ahead and decide, man.
I'm gonna come back at you with your CM Punk part.
Let's get it.
I don't disagree.
Okay.
The reason I didn't pick CM Punk because he took time off. And when we're looking at the first few months, we're looking at 2.5 to 3 months off, out of sight, out of mind. He didn't carry anything during that time frame. And post Mania, to me, is a huge part of where you have that high from Rumble to Mania. After Mania, how do you elevate? And what do you do? Who carries the company at that point? And to me, that's why I don't cast my vote for Punk. That's the only reason. I don't debate anything you said prior to that, but with that time
he
being
didn't
gone,
lead enough to be able to get that break.
No. Oh, no. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it. I think it's the best thing that happened.
Okay.
But me to give him an MVP for the first half of the year when he wasn't there, half of the first half of the year.
2 months.
Okay.
That's not half. That's not half. That's not half. That's not half. But okay.
That's the reason I have a hard time giving it to him.
Okay.
Now by the end of the year, you may be right. He may be the MVP of the whole year.
Okay.
Because now you're looking at 10 out of 12.
My only pushback is the amount of heavy lifting he did for those first 4 months going into the biggest show. That would be my only pushback. That would be my
I give you that bit. And if I go back to MJF, he's been there the whole time.
Yeah.
And then Danhausen has put the world on fire. Danhausen in his promos and his backstage segments and all of that have taken the bloodlines over here and the seriousness of Cody and his feuds and Randy and all of that happening over here, and still makes people suspend disbelief over here and be like, oh, yeah, we can laugh, we can giggle and all that.
Okay.
And the heavy lifting of that dude's on every show. Every show that they could put a WWE logo on, he's on it. Every freaking show.
That's fair.
WWE Public Access. There you go. He'll be on that one too.
Okay. Ali, where are you standing right now?
So I hear you, Greg. I hear it on the sense that, I just said about catching lightning in the bottle, and he took dog poop in a bottle and made it into lightning, ultimately. But his run, while immediate, has been almost, I guess, supported by those he interacted with, because that is the key thing, where he's had a supporting cast, right? From the beginning. His best interactions happened with the Judgment Day, right off the top. And then lately he has Miz and Kip basically as recurring characters in these segments, right? So as much as I want to say yes, and obviously I'm a fan through and through, MJF has made it happen with various different situations, promos, wrestlers, hell, even out of promotion. I mean, he wrestled Zila Fatu, who's on his way to WWE this year at Hog, and is it Dreamers? I don't know who's promotion that is.
He's promotion in it.
He wrestled Limitless as well for the title. Like he brought the title with him and still did the whole thing. Did what he had a run with Bandito that didn't get as much play as it should have because that was just a good wrestling match, period. Not so much the promos. He started the year with the Brody King thing where he really came off as like, you know, the scared heel, like, oh, you legitimately thought if Brody beat some, you wouldn't be like super surprised because just the way he played the part. So I think from that standpoint, he just presents this really strong case where it's like, no matter where you slot him in, similar to Danhausen, he knows how to position his character and his role to make it work. Whether it is that, you know, the scared heel, whether it is, hey, you are talented, like with Bandito or with Zila or with whoever you slot in there, or even the Hangman feud right before he went off injured at Revolution to this last run with Kenny, where like he recognizes like, yeah, you are the stalwart of this company and of the modern wrestling age from 10 years back, but I'm still the new blood. So sorry, like you don't have to claim this. And obviously Kenny did, but that doesn't make MJF less of a threat, I guess. And I see Danhausen more as a segment rather than someone who's going to make me say, obviously I want to tune in because of him, but for MJF, I'm gonna see like I want to see what that next feud looks like. Whereas Danhausen, it's like I know he's gonna have a good segment next. So it's just maybe we're comparing apples to oranges here.
No, I feel you. MJF has done heavy lifting, and I'll concede to the point of Punk taking his 2 months that he deserves. Roman Reigns is a heavy dude carrying him through that main event match. But let's go ahead and award mid-season award to AEW's own Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Congratulations to you. Ali, you got a promo, right?
I do have a promo. It's from the beginning of the year. Cool. And I'll just set it up this way. MJF is being interrupted by one Brody King.
Cool.
And it was actually a really cool program that was short, but it was
Shut
fun.
Your fat triple chin mouth. It's bad enough I got to look at all these dumb schmucks in this audience tonight. Try to keep your geriatric arm up to my mouth the whole time, okay, pal? I will. Ladies and gentlemen, and I do use that term very loosely around these parts, you are looking at a man who wears beautiful watches, a man who wears custom suits, a man who wears diamond rings, Burberry shoes, Burberry scarves. I ride in helicopters, private jets, and limousines, and I've got the baddest girl you've ever seen. And do you know why, folks? It's because I'm the best wrestler on God's green earth. And if you don't believe me, ladies and gentlemen, here is the proof. The prize that every wrestler in this sport wishes they can obtain. Pretty Platinum, the Triple B, the AEW World Championship. Real gold, real diamonds, real platinum. This belt costs more than all of you miserable losers could ever possibly dream of having in your bank accounts. So if you ever see some schmuck on your TV screen in my sport claim that they're the best of the best and their name ain't MJF, grab the remote and change the channel, because the only thing coming out of their mouth is the same thing coming out of their ass. I am the world's champion. I hold the grandest prize of them all. I am professional wrestling, baby. And last week, Bandito was the first of many in a long line of losers to find out the hard way that 2026 is the year of the devil and ain't nobody on my level. That's a big level right there. Big one. Brody King, one half of the former AEW World Tag Team Champions with Bandito.
You see his whole demeanor change. You see like this, very Ric Flair-esque promo, and then it's like, we're off to the races because just the look says it all, right? It says like, oh, I take you seriously. And that does so much for that other person, where Brody had never been positioned to do single stuff like this. And it really elevated him, where now he's doing that pretty regularly. So yeah, I think that kind of speaks for itself.
Good call. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next. Okay, worst talker, very easy. It's a long list of candidates there, long list, but we have three lucky nominees, and Adelaide, I want to know your nominee.
I'm gonna cheat a little bit, but I mean, I have a feeling somebody's gonna say this one, but somebody's gonna throw it out there, and I hate to do it, but I got to. Love you, Bailey, but I have nominated. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
Okay,
I'm sorry. All right.
Hold on, we're gonna just say the names first.
Sure.
Great.
Okay, so I had Bailey as 1B, but my 1A was Maxine Dupree.
Ooh, okay.
And not based on this most recent earlier in the year.
Okay,
yes,
that's fair. My pick, fellas, is the Yeet Man, Jey Uso. Like, get him off my TV, man. Yeah. Get him off my TV.
Yeah.
All right. My reason behind it. He had the world palm of his hand. In fact, the palm of both hands, because Yeet and all that stuff. But nothing has developed from it. And I think he plays a major part behind that. His promo, like, we've even in past episodes gave him props for his unconventional promo style, where he's more of a natural, I'm just, I'm here for the vibes, and I'm going to go ahead and just get myself up. It's just a jumbled mess. 90% of his promos are just a jumbled mess. It doesn't sound convincing. It's, in fact, annoying, especially because everyone's saying Yeet in between. I get that. That's over. It's fun. But his character has just been lackluster. And I'm not even going to talk about his wrestling and all of that, because, it is what it is. But he's been, in my opinion, one of the biggest disappointments coming out of last year. He had the golden opportunity. I'm not even going to cascade him for what wound up going down, but he's just been a huge disappointment. He had the world at the palms of his hands. He could have been the big star, and now he's subjugated to being the second or third man. Honestly, the third man, and now Fatu's there. He's probably like third on the totem pole. And some people will probably say Jimmy's better. I've seen people say Jimmy is better at this point. And for me, that's a disappointment. And that's the reason why I'm nominating Jey Uso. Worst talker. Great.
I mean, I can't even argue none of that. So, can I retort to any of that you just talked about briefly?
Sure.
It's interesting that I was never a Daniel Bryan fan. In ring, different. There's a difference between in ring. I'll never take that away. But there for the longest, I was like, dude, and I'll still say to this day, he's over because of a yes chant. Is what it is. I don't care. No, come at me, people. I could care less. And I never thought, and he's improved his promos. I think he had some good promos when he did the vegan thing in WWE, when he's going with Kofi and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But beyond that, he's just a yes dude. That's what he is. That's what people wanted to do. He came out, all they wanted to do was yes. Jey Uso is the modern day yes man. That is what he eat. They want to come out, have fun. He's Alex Rose with the Rosebuds. That's what he is. Come out, dance, do your little yeet thing, move on. So I don't disagree with anything. And I would also agree, Jimmy's become better. On the microphone, he's become better. Maxine Dupree, to me, so bad. It's just so bad. Now with the vision thing, I can see that. I can see how that could elevate and become better. So I'm taking that aside. Even her program with Natty, it was just bad.
Rough, man. It was rough.
Yeah.
And I'm pulling for it. It's one of those things like, I want you to do well. I want you to be good in the ring and do whatever. It's just bad. And I mean, when Natty's cutting a better promo than you, it's even worse.
Yeah, it's tough.
Because Natty sucks too.
Tough.
So I'm like, man. So just bad. But I mean, we just all in the toilet right now. Ethan in the toilet and Maxine in the toilets, and I'm gonna give it to you out of lead. Please your case, because
I did think of Lyra. I'm not gonna lie, but I feel like I can't blame Lyra for just trying to be part of something, because you just got to make it work. Bailey, and we've said it before. We've talked about this before. That Triple H run maybe was trying to get her a shot in the arm, or is trying to get her shot in the arm. I just don't see passion behind those eyes anymore. I don't. And I'm not saying she doesn't care. I'm not saying she's going to try. It's just like, I don't know who she is. She's just like this elder statesman, and she's not even old, really, realistically. Right. And it's trying to play that part, but I don't think you can play that part unless you've defined yourself, and she still hasn't. Right? If I can think of everybody else, right? Yeah, the role model, we've praised her. We've praised like the COVID run and her elevating, like she deserves all that. But this current iteration, it's just not, it's not bad. It's not good. It just is. It's more bad than good, obviously, but it's not making me want to seek out a promo or tuning in to just watch her, where in the past, I think this, it was part of the promo, but Lyra's now playing this disheveled character, but she said a line. She goes,
traded places. They're both,
right. They try to make something out of it. Right. And she's like, "You're the worst of the four horsewomen." And I was like, well, let's not go that far. But but this iteration just feels very banal, very vanilla. Like, okay, cool. Like, you're here, you're wrestling. That's it. There's nothing to sink your teeth into in terms of why should I care? Which ultimately, not the wrestling, not the fireworks, not the clothes, not the merch. The words coming out of her mouth is such a unique thing in pro wrestling. That's what's going to make me care about whether I'm going to tune in and whether I'm going to seek you out. And right now, it's not happening. And I don't know if that means, like, Greg has mentioned it even the last podcast, where it's like, maybe she goes to AEW, and that's still no guarantee if that anything happens, right?
It just means she's gonna get paid pretty well. That's about it. That's the only guarantee right now.
It's all about the money, which can't fault anybody for that.
Not at all. Heck no. All right, fellas. Again, I'm glad all three of us have different nominees. Where are we leaning right now?
I lean towards Bailey, just from the standpoint because Maxine's not a big enough star, and from an expectation standpoint, I think Bailey's past year, really post Damage Control, has been awful.
Yeah.
And I've said before, I think Lyra brought her down, whereas Lyra was put with her to elevate her, and she's brought her down, and I don't think she's motivated.
Yeah. I think for all the reasons I said before, and you said something right now, when they put that program together, I'm sure they thought, like, yeah, this is going to be great. Like, Lyra will get her rub and she'll do great and she'll learn and she'll get that exposure. And if you go back and watch those matches or that match, it is crickets, brother. It is. And that's the saddest thing, because it's like, not that people hated it. It's not that people, it was just there. And a lot of the time, those promos are just kind of there. And I think that's why it's a little tragic to me that why I even put her on this list was, we know she's capable of so much more, right?
Definitely.
And I think that's the difference between, a Jey Uso, where we've seen him be given the ball. We've been seeing him, be given the ball at the highest possibility, including the world championship at this point, and he just didn't deliver. Whereas Bailey has. Bailey has met that upper echelon, and maybe just like you said, Greg, she's not motivated. I don't know.
All right, so mid-season MVP, we got Bailey, congratulations, I guess. What promo you got for us, Elite?
I got a joint promo here. It's actually one of those promos that they do that are now infamous or famous for Netflix, which they do during the commercial breaks that they probably think they only air internationally nowadays.
How are you feeling right now, having earned a major victory over the Judgment Day's Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez?
I mean, we obviously feel great, Byron, right? We hate the Judgment Day. They're annoying. We love to win, but we've lost in the past. We've won in the past. The Judgment Day has treated in the past. Treated. I meant cheated. You know what I meant, guys, right? They've cheated in the past. But we've made it to WrestleMania. I didn't make it 1 year to WrestleMania. Nothing really matters anymore, does it, Byron? But what does matter is that pound for pound, inch by inch, match by match, for a whole damn year, we have been the best tag team in the division, tag champions or not. And we ain't stopping. Go ahead.
Yeah, dude. That's why my big win Bailey here stays so positive and was able to get the big win tonight. Am I right? I don't care who's lost faith in us. This is to everyone who doesn't believe, to everyone who does believe. Scrap Daddy, Brie Bella, Paige, the tag titles. You know, we want it all. We are not going away. I don't care if it makes sense anymore. We are going to keep on coming until we have success. Am I right?
He's just counting down the days.
Well, coming up next week, we heard the announcement earlier on tonight. You have a chance for major success with the start of the Queen of the Ring tournament. We only have about 20 seconds left. The possibility of winning this tournament, competing. How do you feel?
Well, Byron, I hope you know who you're talking to. I almost won the Queen of the Ring tournament 2 years ago, and Big Win Bailey here has never been in one, but she's won everything else under this.
Did you guys just pause to look at Bailey this whole time when she didn't have the mic?
She didn't care, man.
She's dejected. She's like so tuned out, just completely tuned out. And I thought it was relevant to bring that because most of the audience didn't see that, except the international crowd or anybody who's like looking for this promo afterward, you know. But I hope she finds happiness. You know, we talk so much about Punk finding happiness, but
yeah, there's no reaction, and there's just,
you
know, there's such high expectations for Lyra, but then Bailey should be that person, and there's just no reaction. Right. When she threw in her little comment and her dig about Mania, nobody cared.
Yep.
And you know, I get it, but I'm like, what are you trying to play? Who are you trying to? I don't know. I don't even know what she's trying to be. It's just frustrating.
Yeah, that was rough. That was a rough time filler promo. So congratulations, Bailey. Hopefully next year or at the end of the year, we see you the MVP nominees or whatnot.
Absolutely.
Hopefully. Absolutely. All right, fellas. Last one, y'all, and listeners. Thank y'all for checking us out again. We got one more mid-season award, and we're gonna call this the Heenan Honor. And this is going to be a standout talker in a non-wrestling role. So you got plenty of candidates. You got plenty of people that can easily be considered a nominee in this category. Out of lead, I want to know your nominee.
I got to be like super direct, and as someone that I just really, really enjoy, and I could see him being the voice of this company, Corey Graves. Corey Graves has knocked it out of the park. Every time I hear him, whether it's been on the main WWE broadcast, and he was bounced around for a little bit there, and I think where he really shines is in AAA because he really helps interpret it for anybody that is not clued in, and you don't have to have watched for the last year. He just makes it real simple, which I think he really personifies, for this era at least, what a pro wrestling announcer needs to be.
Good call. Really good call. Greg, your nominee.
I have Adam Pearce.
Adam Pearce, okay.
I think he's entertaining. I think he plays multiple roles very well. Talked about Danhausen earlier. He can play off of a Danhausen. He can play off of a Roman. He can play off of a LA Knight. He plays off of everybody. He plays a role so well. And I think he's grown into it. And I mean, honorable mention would be Nick Aldis. I think he plays his role really well too, but I just think a little Scrap Daddy does very well in that role. And at this point, I think he redefined what the general manager role is.
Okay, I like that. All right, my nominee is a person within wrestling, non-wrestling position. It's a podcaster, man, and it's a guy that we've done an episode on, and the internet is very up and down on him for good reasons, in a lot of my opinion. But Vince Russo is my favorite talker in a non-wrestling role right now, because as a podcaster, I'll give you my reasons and then I'll lead on one of yours. I know Greg gave his, but Vince Russo right now as a podcaster, I think he's mastered rage bait in the internet and podcast culture, because his opinion, anything that he puts out is going to immediately be super divisive. And it's all by design, in my opinion. And whether that's crapping on WWE, whether that's crapping on AEW, whether that's praising Juggalo Championship Wrestling, shout out to them, shout out to the Juggalos. But anything that Vince says is going to be immediately divisive, and it is gaining a lot of traction because it pisses off so many people. Whether you're a current wrestler, a former wrestler, Cornette hates him. A lot of us hate him, but a lot of us love him also. And I think just recently, his rants on Sami Zayn, they have a compilation of Vince Russo crapping and bagging on Sami Zayn just within this year. So for that reason, I'm going to say my nominee has to be Vince Russo, because he's hilarious and, extremely divisive.
Right on. Man, what a change in like just perception for him in the last several years, right? Like,
definitely
reinvented himself as a character almost. I'll say for Corey Graves, it's obviously it's way more muted because he's not an on-screen character. He does play the heelish part when he needs to, right? But I think now that, like, especially in AAA where like JBL is in there, they got Mysterio in there, he seems to just be the one who can acknowledge storylines, can acknowledge characters, but still, still steer the boat, so to speak, and steer the ship in a way that I don't feel confused when he's on the call. I feel like I can pop in, he can lay out the the facts and what's going on, and the fact that they moved Cole over and they made him to pair him up that way, I think is very telling of how much trust they have in him, because
means a lot.
Here's this dude that I think at one point like left or like wasn't even announcing for whatever reason, and was a former wrestler, and that could have been it. And he said like, no, let me give it a shot, and I still want to be part of this business. And I think he's only gotten better every year. And I think these last few months where kind of AAA has been more and more, and he's still holding down the main roster, he just makes it really easy to listen, where a lot of the times I don't care to watch like a full show because I'm just not interested, whatever company it is. But if I watch a segment that he's calling, I'm like, all right, cool, I'm in good hands. Like, I don't have to try too hard to go back and figure out who's who and what this feud is about. He's very easy, and he's not afraid anymore, which I think this is there's a little bit of a pitfall sometimes when announcers are trying not to step on toes, especially with some of the old timers or some of the Hall of Famers. He will correct them. He will say, actually, it went about this way, but not in a way that is demeaning or takes away from it. It's just like, hey, like, actually, this is what's happening right now. Let's get back to the action stuff. So I think it's a very underappreciated role that he plays, that I think to to the audience, he's helpful. I think that's I think where it comes from.
And he was in the doghouse last year.
He was
for his opinion on Pat McAfee.
Yep.
Do you feel like AAA showed the rest of the company what he could truly do?
I think it showed him what he could always do, but maybe without the shackles of the main roster, where I think there's just a bigger magnifying glass, and I think there's just more people to serve and to satisfy, whether it's sponsors, whether it's shareholders, it's everybody, and it feels it's more clinical. That I think, I'm not saying nobody's watching AAA, but I think him also having the knowledge of that, which I know he's just a wrestling head, period. But I know his brother wrestling in Mexico probably helped a lot in some ways. So he just has a lot of foundational knowledge that if you plugged in anybody else, that product would probably sound as bad as, New Japan 2010s when they plugged in like JR.
Oh God, it can't be that bad.
So I think there's not enough for the success of AAA has been a lot. I'll give him some credit. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of was going down that path, is that AAA showed him he can be him.
Yep.
Whereas before, pre-McAfee, because we know he got removed from McAfee, and I think McAfee was good for what he was. I think he now can just be him, and I almost relate him to a modern day Tenay. That has that knowledge of lucha, who has that knowledge of that, but then think about what Tenay brought in WCW. That's what they had him in there for, right? The cruiserweights and all that. But then Tenay, you saw what he could do when he got to TNA,
right?
From a play-by-play, and that's kind of how I look at Corey's. Like Corey was like, "Let me figure this whole thing out, and now I have a bigger role." And I'm not saying that they're the same type of announcers, but they understand the wrestling business, like you said. But Corey, he just sounds more confident to me.
Yeah.
Like he's not trying to be King. He's not trying to be Taz. He's not trying to be something, another color commentator that was in WWE. He's now him.
It's like a Tom Hannafin in TNA, right? Like once he was out of that ecosystem, it's like, oh, you can just be yourself, and it's actually enjoyable. Like I like his commentary on TNA. Like it's actually pretty entertaining.
Nice. Yeah. Okay.
So I gotta say one. I can't be quiet. So I gotta say one thing about Vince Russo.
Yeah.
I like that nominee. I don't listen to his podcast all the time. I do catch his TikToks and all that stuff, mainly because Coach drives me crazy more so than he does. But I don't comment a lot. But I will see myself commenting more on his. Literally today, I commented on one of his in a positive way. Like I was agreeing with what he was talking about. And there's so many things he does say that if you truly step back, he's right.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, there's so much he brought to this wrestling business. I will all day say he should be part of the Hall of Fame. And I've had people blast me about that. I think he should, because he brought a lot to this business.
Right.
He needs some guardrails. but that podcast, which is what we're talking about, I like that nominee. One is non-WWE. It's also somebody who's not afraid to push some buttons.
Right.
Rage bait a little bit, but we also know that's him.
Yeah.
It's a gimmick. Yeah.
And he's literally doing a wrestling gimmick on
he's Vic Venom
on a pro wrestling podcast.
It's so meta.
That's why I love it. I love it. He's cutting.
He was the original Rage baiter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go back 100%. To
100%.
Velocity, whatever the thing was, Livewire, whatever it was that Paul Heyman called into.
Yep.
He was the host as Vic Venom.
Yep.
And that's what he did there.
Yeah.
Yep.
He rage baited there before we had rage bait. So.
And see, I originally wanted to say Bischoff. I was going to say Bischoff, but I think Vince does a better job of the foundations of top promo cutter in pro wrestling. He does that better than EB on his podcast, in my opinion, because he's putting stuff out there. Again, he's bringing engagement. and he's getting your attention. He's drawing views. He's drawing engagement. So the dude is a draw, man. His opinion is a draw. And I enjoy it. Like you said, he brings a lot of truth and a lot of knowledge to it, but it's so drummed up. It's you find yourself spending an hour watching. You find yourself fighting through a billion bros to have a great point.
They should have a what's that thing?
They put a bro counter right there. Yeah, they always do that to make.
There should be a Kalashi that you go in there between him and DDP, who has the most bros.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that's the reason why I put him there. But
it's a dangerous drinking game, Greg.
No, I can't do that.
No, please don't, y'all. All right, fellas, where are we standing on this last one? The Heenan Honor.
Oh, man, I gotta give it to you because I didn't think of it from that perspective in terms of him being a character on a show, which ultimately, yeah, like look, there's wrestling podcasts are a dime a dozen, not this one included, but
right.
But yeah, if you're gonna lean into it, have fun, I guess, right? And he seems to be having more fun because there are no guardrails, which can go a little south. But hey, like
he hasn't messed up.
Watching.
He hasn't messed up just yet.
Ben, I gotta tell you, man. Obviously, I'm not watching a PPL, a PLE, a PPV. I'm not watching any of that shit, obviously, right? But I always I'll go to Google just to get results. Okay.
He's so
bro,
old.
I swear, and this is hard for people to believe. When I saw a still photo of Sami Zayn in the ring on his knees crying in Saudi as the new WWE champion, bro, I swear to God, my first response was I laughed out loud. I laughed. I thought it was funny. I wasn't mad. I wasn't upset. I freaking laughed. And I think I laughed because I have been saying, not for this particular event, but I have been saying, watch you guys. They're going to put the belt on Sami Zayn. They're going to put the belt on Sami Zayn. I've been saying it for about probably the last 6 months. And, I didn't say this particular pay-per-view. I didn't even talk about the three-way, quite frankly, because I didn't give a shit. I didn't say this pay-per-view, but when I saw that picture, all I could do was laugh. This is the WWE World Champion. This is supposed to be the greatest wrestling company in the entire world. And this is your world champion. So, one thing to me, it is clear, it's so funny, bro, because, not anybody can be, a Brad Pitt or a George Clooney or an Arnold Schwarzenegger, and become a movie star. Not anybody can just become a movie star. Not anybody can play center field for the New York Yankees, okay? Not anybody can be a starting quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, okay? It really takes the best of the best. I mean, my God, Ben, Tiger Woods, I think, started playing golf when he was 2, right? When you hear about, like, I was hearing an interview, one of those Knick players, right? Bro, the guy was talking about from like the age of 5, 6 hours a day shooting hoops at 5 years old. Bro, at 5 years old, you can't reach the basket. Okay. And he talked about every single day. You hear about the tennis sisters, the Williams sisters. And the father, there's a movie about it, how their father.
Sorry, Vince. We get it. Jesus, we get it. Anybody could be WWE champion. So Congratulations to the great Vince Russo for being the first or the mid-season Heenan Honors. So, listeners, let us know in the comments, what are your thoughts? Who was the best talker so far this year? Who's the worst talker so far this year? And, of course, who's your Heenan Honors recipient mid-season? But, fellas, man, congratulations again on episode 100. Thank y'all again, as always, for joining me and having the conversation, having debates. These are always fun. I really do appreciate y'all, man. Any last thoughts for the listeners, fellas?
I mean, we appreciate you guys coming along with this ride with us. These first 100. Hey, we got a lot more to go. Just make sure you like, subscribe, share. Share them. Even more so than a like, subscribe. Just get out there, share it around, spread the word. If you like it, engage with us. Let us know what you want us to do. I mean, I think that's one of the things we would love to do is take some of y'all's ideas and start popping them out. The next 100, a little bit more listener feedback, a little bit more viewer feedback, and
definitely
do some of y'all's and debate us. You don't like these? You don't like Vince Russo? Bring it. Tell us who should have been on there. So, yeah, but we appreciate you guys watching. Thank you again, Adelaide. Thank you, Adrian, for having me on this podcast.
Always, man.
I mean, it's definitely my honor to be here every single week.
Definitely. Adelaide, last thoughts.
Yeah, I'll extend it. Thanks for those of you that spend your time listening. You can listen to anything else, and so many things out there you can use your time with. So we appreciate your time for coming on and listening however you like to listen. And again, we love engagement. We like hearing from you, even if you disagree. Like, that's what the conversation is all about, right? Like, we're not
especially if you disagree.
Yeah, that makes it more fun.
Yeah.
But again, just echo that. Appreciate Adrian for putting this together and
definitely, man.
Giving us the invite. But also Greg. Also, I know y'all work really hard to even make the time because I'm on the West Coast. It's a lot earlier for me when we record, so it's far later. So I appreciate y'all. But thanks to my brothers and for always just making this a real good time. It is a bit of an escape from the real world, as it were.
Definitely
talking about pro wrestling.
Definitely. But ladies and gentlemen, once again, go to intothebuilding.com. Bring you right to the back catalog. We got 100 plus episodes. If you're counting little reviews here and there and stuff like that. But we're going to say this is definitely episode 100 because we're the promo experts here in these podcast streets. For Greg, for Adelaide, I'm Adrian. You already know it's no BS coming from me. We are Talk 'em in the Building, a pro wrestling podcast that puts the focus on the promo. We talk about the talkers, hype the hype man, and of course we pontificate upon the promo. Y'all have a wonderful week. We'll check you out later. Peace.
You don't know what hard times are, Daddy.